Welcome to Earthly Integrations with Eden and Chris. Take what you need for your highest good and timeline. Breathe into your heart space and be present with us as we connect and evolve together. Hello, welcome. This is our first recorded episode of Earthly Integrations.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. My name is Eden.
My name is Chris.
And today we are going to jump into an awesome topic of water.
Yes. So when we were going over what we wanted to name this podcast, we were definitely wanting to implement that project that we are working with earth energies now. We'll talk about alchemic processes and different things that we're going to be working with, but one of the things is water, and water in terms of how we are emotionally, our emotional body. In astrology, we talk about water as emotional stuff.
There are so many facets of water. I'm going to continue to make those corny jokes. Yes, sorry.
What was one you made earlier? You just made one earlier.
Going with the flow.
Go with the flow,
just like water.
Yeah. Yes, I had an interesting conversation with somebody this morning, and he's got like Pluto in his first house, and he was talking about water. So it's like he was giving me a channeled divine message about talking about water, and really it is like I was saying. There's a trine in water right now. Saturn is in a Pisces. We just entered Scorpio, and there's a square to Pluto. So
wow,
we're asked to go deep in our emotional awareness and our emotional. So water in astrology is emotion, and I think you were the one who left off on your last point.
Yes. So to me, whenever I think of water in astrology and or in like yoga, it's the feminine energy, it's the emotion, it's diving deep, it's dark, it's cold, things like that. And I know that Scorpio, which we are in the season of Scorpio now, is water. And gosh, it's like death. Water. It's the deepest you can go.
It is. And actually it's so great that you just said it in that way, because the potential is to be deep and cold, and the deeper you go, the colder it is, because we're being cut off from fire, from the light, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so because you can have warm water, and that element of fire is what keeps the waters warm and lovey-dovey, right? But then something can push you down, right? And when you do go into the darks and the depths of that it can be perceived as cold, and because it's removing all of that light away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're lost to navigate.
Yeah, and it also pushes you to follow your intuition and to really, I just think that it's like psychic. Like I know that Pisces is known as the psychic one and whatnot, but all water signs have that potential because it's a conduit.
Yeah. So it is the yin energy. Water is feminine in astrology, so you're not wrong. And water does all the things that nature teaches us, like you're pointing to. It is deeply intuitive. It's intuitive. And yes, it takes us deep. So that's where the elements do teach us. So you're not wrong. Think of consciousness as surface level, right? And how we're perceiving the things around us. Does the air stir up waves of emotion and bring us, up to the top, where fire, we're closer to the heat, which can be boiling water, right? Boiling water is hot water. It's stirred up angry emotion, right? So really it's so simplified, right? These things in nature are just set up to teach us such simple lessons, and we dismiss them. I remember I was a child of watching, or not child, but like Friends was really popular, and Phoebe, of course, the intuitive one was broadcast as being kind of dumb, right? Because she fed into this stuff. There is a stigma of not believing these sort of things because we're taught, conspiracy theorists, and you're dumb, you're tinfoil hat wearer. You believe that? You're an idiot, and that's kind of what I've contended with my whole life is, really, you're entertaining that truth, what we're all taught to dismiss? But why are we taught to dismiss it? And I felt like my entire life has just been collecting relevant information that people have dismissed, but I go deeper and uncover why it's important. And
it's definitely thinking outside of the box. That's for sure. And I think that that's where I forgot what I was going to say.
I love it.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's, sometimes water veers off. Oh, another thing that while you try to recollect your thought, think of it in terms of like emotions we're not taught to let go of. We're taught to store them and to, let them ruminate. And what happens when water stagnates? It becomes full of bacteria and grossness, and it's toxic, and it's not healthy anymore. It's not a healthy expression of water,
that reminds me of Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Which is so inspired.
Yes, and I just feel like manga and anime has definitely brought to light the energy work that is possible and just how you can clear your chakras, because that's exactly what he was doing whenever he was pouring the water through.
Yeah.
It's
managing his vessel. Right, by keeping it clear. That movie, that actually is, I was so psychic that you said that. I was just thinking about that the other day, because I was listening to an energy worker, and this dude has been making, he's super rich, because he goes around basically he's channeling light language and doing energy work. It's all stuff that I'm doing, and I'm in my room thinking that I look like a weirdo doing it, but he's doing all the same stuff. It's like he's managing, and that's the direction that we're being called to go, is being more cognizant of our own energy and manipulating it. And there's a few of us that are really aware of what this is and its frequency and vibration and Fibonacci and all that stuff, but it's all integrated into just as simple as just a circular motion. I'm like, wow, that's how I do energy work too. This is how I move my hand, and this is how I'm, feeling, how it's channeling through my body, and I feel altered afterwards. So something to definitely pay attention to.
Absolutely. And I do want to say that, a lot of people think energy work equals Reiki, but you can do energy work anywhere. You do not have to be trained in the Reiki arts at all. And just going out and feeling a tree, you can feel the aura of nature around you.
Yeah.
And also, water works. Have you ever put your energy in a glass of water and drank it?
Oh my gosh, all the time. So this is where I was going to, this is so funny. This is such a great segue into the next thing that I was going to say. I even wrote it down. So I was listening to somebody who was talking about how there is an activation of water happening on the planet right now. And I'm trying to look and see which notebook I put it in, but
she has about 20 notebooks over here, so it might take a minute.
So there's an activation of water on the planet, and it's beckoning us to move stuck energy. And there can be a use for water to be medicine. So yes, to bless your water and to use it as an alchemic process. So the download that I got this past week was that we can use it with intention. Where did I write this? I don't have it in front of me, so I'm just going to go off of what I remember writing down. When we use intention and gratitude and drink water, our hearts they're coils, and they are electromagnetic. So we are emitting this sort of alchemic process with intention, elevated emotion, and this sort of embodiment of, this process, alchemic process. So when we do it, our bodies are literally, so how they're saying drink more water, it's great for you, and all ascension symptoms and alleviate all those. It's not just good for our bodies, it's actually healing the planet, because as it goes through us, now this might be completely off, I don't know, but this is what I intuited, and my intuition has been extremely accurate lately. It's cleansing it. It's like our DNA is changing it. And when it leaves us, because all water on this planet is recycled in the water cycle, we are transmuting it, we are cleansing it, and we're literally re-alchemizing the water on the planet when we drink more of it. So the more of us sort of light workers, star seeds, people who are more conscious energy workers that are drinking water, and with intention, when we add intention to it, so there's the missing link, right? So it's a nice little piece of information that I feel like we sort of got to explore. And yeah.
Well, if you look at water and what we do to it whenever you get baptized, you can baptize yourself every day in your shower. It is a new day. All the sins of yesterday were washed away. And that's exactly what I do consistently.
Yes.
Also,
like
whenever you're feeling like crap, I do this to my kids all the time. I'll be like, here, drink this water. And I've put all the love that I've ever held for them in this cup of water. And within minutes of them drinking that water, they're just so lovey-dovey and everything is just okay again. And my kids are like teenagers, so I don't tell them that I'm doing this, but I see the difference, right?
Yes.
So yes, intention and water is key. Also, going out into your bodies of water in your area and swimming, putting your intention in that water. Water is life. These bodies of water, they are living things.
Yeah.
They flow in, they flow out. They're breathing, essentially. Yeah. And whenever you go into that body, you can kind of spread your intention throughout the world, especially if you're next to an ocean. But even all bodies of water connect.
Yeah. Yeah. You could be just standing in the rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely. Just put your feet in the pond or, yeah, for sure. An activation of water. And you're right. Absolutely. That it's got its own consciousness. It's the consciousness and emotion of Earth Mother Gaia. And it's definitely where we can feel into a lot of these earth changes and use it for cleansing. And like you said, and it's so funny, the baptizing thing. I've been thinking about that too lately. There is a rebirth right now with all the scorpionic energy that we're feeling. So to use water as a cleansing, a transmutation, a rebirth, and a blessing is, I think, a really good use of it right now.
Absolutely. You can even speak into your water if you don't have like that energy. If you don't feel as if your energy is going into the water, you can speak words into it. You can bless it before, just like you said, blessing it is just so good for you.
Absolutely. And if any of you people out there who are, wanting a little bit more scientific validation of this, there is a Dr. What is his name? Emoto. Water crystal healing is the name of the book.
Yes,
Dr. Emoto, and he proves it. He will show, when you speak or, with using your vibration of your words, you can even write it down and or on the glass or something like that. Positive words, elevated gratitude, loving intentions, and then grow crystals to it. The water grows in these beautiful formations, these amazing, majestic looking formations. And adversely, when you yell at it and say, "I hate you, you're ugly." I think I want to say like heavy metal music does the same thing. It's like really distorted and sort of harsh, and it does grow those types of crystals when you do it.
But also like basic science. We all know that if you are standing in a puddle of water and a live wire hits, it's going to energy exchange right up into you.
Right.
So like the water is a conduit.
Yeah.
Your energy is so subtle, but it does make a massive difference.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful way to put it so profoundly. Absolutely, yeah. She's like, yes. I know, sometimes I really come up with them. That reminds me of the Phoebe, she's just like,
I wonder what sign Phoebe was. She was so airy. So
eclectic, yeah.
Yes.
I know. I have a friend who knows like all of them. And I know that we've discussed it with my brother before because we're always trying to talk about people's astrology and like how even sometimes the characters of movies and even if it's not the astrology of that actor, but if it is of the character and they embody it, like I really feel like these actors are probably learning this and it's probably more common knowledge even among them, just to be able to play the character,
Absolutely.
to embody it.
I wanted to go back to one little topic, and this has been consistently coming up for me. Conspiracy theories. There's a big one going on right now about cloud seeding, I think it's called.
Oh, right.
And
vinegar? Or no?
I'm not sure. Well, there's been a lot of people that they'll say this. They'll say, somebody's responsible for these storms.
Oh, yeah, but I've heard that too,
And
yeah.
I'm thinking, what? What does that mean? I think that conspiracy theories have really taken off in a way that's just kind of uncontrollable. And like there's been so much happening with water right now with the storms, the hurricanes, and then New Mexico just got flooded.
Yeah.
And people are consistently saying there's somebody responsible. There's cloud seeding happening. Yes. And I'm thinking, like, people are more prone to believe these conspiracy theories opposed to, say, energy and
Right.
psychic stuff and like astrology and things like that. I think that it has it's in the water.
Well, so here's the thing. This is where I'm always trying to find the balance, right? Because some conspiracy theories are absolutely true. And then some of them are taken to a level to create more fear and discordance and confusion. So this is where I feel like meditation is really important to go inward and really explore what is true, but also to question everything, right? Not to be complacent and be like, and also judgmental of people who believe in,
Absolutely.
stuff that we just think is ridiculous, right? But
Yeah.
but there's definitely weather modification programs, like those are true, so to dismiss it as, some
Woo woo.
completely
Yeah.
off the rails sort of unbelievable science is also not true or valid, right? But
I think this is where critical thinking
critical
comes
thinking
in.
needs to come in as well.
Absolutely.
Internal.
And you said knowing the truth, and I think I'll preface that with knowing your truth, because
True.
your truth could be totally different than others. You've had a whole life that others have not lived.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring up conspiracy theories, and I wanted to bring it to the surface because it's been consistently coming into my view
Yeah.
as yes, there are some things that are true in this conspiracy, but there are a good amount of things that are not my truth in this conspiracy.
Right. And here's another perspective too. Even if there are truths to it, what is your control? Where's your control? Right. So like, I know you and I talked about like during this storm, it sounds very woo-woo and crazy, but I meditated and I was one of with Molly McCord. She's an astrologer here locally, and I love her so much. She's awesome. And she just like termed a phrase called earth workers, and feel like I was definitely resonating with what she was saying about these beings who are working with the elementals and the energetics of the storm, because of course we are in Florida, we're very invested, right? So I feel like maybe that's why some of us have been placed here. It was very easy for me to sort of flow down here from where I was, and I do feel like I am here on purpose, and it's all divine. But it is true, like if I weren't as invested in protecting this area, if I weren't living here, I wouldn't have been doing this type of work. But I do feel that it was something I was very conscious of, and a lot of us were doing it. So
Absolutely. Yeah, so funny, Molly McCord. I also meditate with the storms, and with every yoga class I hold, I tell them, hey, do not get blown away. That can increase your anxieties, root down, anchor down, and really feel into what the storm is blowing in for you.
Right.
Yeah, because for me, it was a reconciliation with my sister, which was emotional.
Wow.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
Yeah.
Shared the space.
Yeah, I had to share my space with her, and we got into a little bit of a tiff, and we usually always do, but this time was different. It wasn't a let's shove our feelings away and not talk about it and totally forget about it. It was a let's put it all on the table and let's work through it.
Yeah.
And then now I feel safer in that relationship.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
What has the storm, or what is the current climate brought to the surface right now for you to heal, for you to let go of, for you to let die. That is a theme right now astrologically, so it's kind of a beautiful demonstration and sort of segue into that conversation. So yeah, awesome, yeah. Healing relationships. So if you want to look at your astrology, find out where your Pluto is right now, and you can look and see what house that is affecting and how it might be showing up for you.
Is Pluto relationships?
Pluto
is like Scorpio, right?
Scorpio.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
real Scorpio.
Because I would love to dive into relationships. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely talk a little bit about the dynamic of relationships.
And the emotional dynamic and how that interludes into the water as well.
Yeah. So we did talk a little bit about in our pilot episode, which I don't know if we're even going to release, but we talked a little bit about how, oh man, I just lost my train of thought now.
Totally okay.
There's just so much that wants to come through, I feel like. What were we just talking about?
We were talking about relationships.
Oh, yeah, the eclipse season. That's what I was going to say. We were talking about how, so last year in Libra, we had a solar eclipse in Libra, and then, 6 months later, we had the lunar eclipse in Libra. And it was theming relationships and how we are over the course of this past year. And right now, especially it's being highlighted, there's an Aries Libra axis for the North Node, South Node. And the nodes of fate is really, that's our growth. That's our soul growth. And it's what we're being called to heal right now, to live and show up more authentically in our own space, and so that we can be healed and show up that way for others in relationship. And when we do heal those parts internally of ourselves, how it shows up in a healing version of our relationships, and that mirrors it.
Living authentically is so healing in and of itself. It is a consistent stepping into you. And then once you have those relationships that are appreciative of that and they continue to love you for your authentic self, it really kind of hones into who you are. Because I know that there's a number of people out there that are just not comfortable with themselves at all.
Right.
Meditation, doing the water healing that we just established, and just like having people around you that build you up to be that authentic self, that love and understand where you're coming from. This is the key to stepping into your true self. Know thyself,
Right. Giving yourself permission to be the weird self. Like, find who you were as a child. What lit you up when you were a child? Find that child self. That's a rising sign, basically. Having 3 kids, I noticed that kids are really a good expression of their moon and their rising. It's like their most authentic form of self. And so if you can find what those expressions are in yourself in your chart and live authentically from that space, that's where the joy is, right? And so you're right, giving yourself permission to be that without judging, without criticizing yourself, and what's the new word, cringe, finding yourself really cringy, and just embracing the cringy parts of ourselves, and just allowing that person, that version of ourselves to be supportive. I think that's why I do love astrology so much. In fact, I was having that same conversation this morning. It's like, I was like listening to myself explain my own, aspects of my astrology. So I was like, okay, Gemini, Capricorn, I was like, oh man, I sound scary. I probably wouldn't want to date me if I
Really?
If I knew. Maybe here's the thing. Me as a person who understands astrology, but I've also, my Pisces influence definitely makes me want to see the highest version. Like, I see the rose-colored glasses, right? So I always see like, oh, the dreaminess of like who people can be. So when I look at
Mm.
their chart, I'm like, I see the best versions of the expressions, but that usually bites me in the butt. So like we
Oh,
can't do that. So, but adversely, but when I'm looking at myself, I'm like, oh, that's a tough one. But because I know what low road Capricorn and low road Gemini, right? Those low expressions of those those signs, and those are potentials. Like talk about our Earth shadows. I just got done reading this. Maybe we'll interview him. Um, in a separate podcast, but I just got done with the book called Integrate Your Shadow
integration.
and Unleash Your Superconscious Superpower by Christopher Duncan.
The Duncan guy.
Yeah, he's and then he's got like some meditations that you can download and do for that. So,
That's really cool. When did he
yeah.
come out with that?
I think it's fairly recent.
That is a older picture. Is this not the same Christopher Duncan that we know?
I don't know. I don't know the guy.
Oh.
Who are you talking about?
There's a Dr. Duncan on Beachside. He's the one that hosted the Ascension uh like event.
I don't know this person.
And he actually has a good amount of like events at his office. The last thing that we met there. We met at Duncan's office.
That was his office when we did the channeling, or
yes, the channeling.
Oh, okay. That
Isn't
was
that
the first
so
time I ever met. That's
funny?
full circle for us right
Oh
now.
my
That's
God.
so funny. Yeah, because then actually somebody there, I think, practiced QHHT, the quantum healing hypnosis method of hypnotherapy that I practice that I learned from Dolores Giddens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's interesting. And that guy, actually, the channeler that we went to was just at Essential Elements Wellness not too long ago. They hosted him too. I thought about that. I was like, that's where I met Eden. Oh my
you know
God.
that whole thing made me really uncomfortable.
Did
I
it?
don't know what it was, but I was just like, channeling is weird.
Channeling's weird. I feel it was just weird because I am being called to be more of my authentic self because I know I can do that because I've done it. And it's blown my mind, but it is so weird that it makes me not want to be that person. But I have enough Aquarius in me to just embody it
Just
and
do
let
it.
my freak flag fly. And I
Yeah.
think that's what I am being called to do is let that authentic version of myself be.
What attracted me to that event was Archangel Michael,
Mm-hmm.
which he's my guy.
Yeah.
Like that's my main spirit guide that I
Yeah.
talk to often.
All the time, yeah.
So seeing that energy in a different light, kind of transformed in a different way that I'm used to, it was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he was spot on with me. I was in a place where I was just exiting a relationship that I didn't feel really truly seen or supported on a heart space level, like, and when I first went up there, his eyes are closed, so he's just reading your energy. And the first thing he said to me was, he just kind of paused and he goes, "A rose, my dear." I was like, wow, okay. He read that energy very, like I was wanting to, like I was looking, that was kind of what I was seeking at the time. It was it was kind of the energy that was leading my life was like, ooh, newness and some in love and like depth and beauty. And so it kind of encompassed that energy, which I thought was cool. So he kind of, yeah, it interested me. I didn't think he said anything too profound and in depth.
Yeah, I don't think that.
But I don't know that I don't think I would have wanted him to in front of a group of people either.
Well,
that I
he
didn't
told
know.
me that I need to get out of the way of myself, which is very true, and I have been working on that. But I just feel as if I went there to open up that space in my energy to see his energy and maybe kind of like mirror it in my own energy because I have a lot of placements in 11th and 12th house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm finding that I'm looking to be more spiritual and I'm aiming in that direction. I think my like ascendant, is it ascendant? Is Cancer?
Mm-hmm. You're rising.
My rising.
Yeah.
So I'm rising to the moon here, right?
Yeah, I mean, talk about emotion.
Right.
Yeah, there's a trine right now. It's so funny because I have an air trine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're here, and actually my Saturn is in Cancer. We talked about this last time. So that is one of my, and my North Node is Scorpio. So it is. My lesson here in this lifetime, one of my major lessons is learning about emotion, you know?
Learning about death, learning about letting go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
rebirth. Girl.
Yeah, that's all the scary stuff to me. That is all
Mm-hmm.
the scary stuff. Like when I was a kid, everyone's got their major fear when they were a kid, and mine was. I was like, I knew I could see dead people if I wanted to, and I didn't want to. I knew I could communicate with the other side, and I was like, no, hide
Did
under
you
the
ever
blanket.
hear people? Did you ever hear your name being called down a hallway or anything? Because I
I
think,
don't recall.
yeah.
I'm sure I have some suppressed memories there. I do remember, oh gosh, I just had something that I was gonna say, no, I don't remember what it was. I do remember feeling like I could directly communicate with spirit. Like I knew the voice, the conversation going on in my head was not just with me. Like I knew that,
Mm-hmm.
and I just knew that I had the capacity to perceive things. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before. I still actually just had this experience the other day. There are a certain amount of people that when there's white noise happening, you can hear radio frequencies playing.
Absolutely.
I have that. So that's what I had.
Oh.
So, and I think that's a part of clairaudience
Mm-hmm.
because I do get messages through songs and through people talking a lot, a lot.
Gotcha.
Like eerily so. Yeah.
Well, in my childhood, I was surrounded by death. I think I went to like 5 funerals by the time I was 10 years
Yeah,
old.
you said this.
So it's like, and we were able to hold each other and be sad. There was no judgment about it at all.
Yeah.
And even today, I'll just like start bawling, and the people around me are very uncomfortable, but I just don't even give a crap.
No, you're
Because
teaching them.
absolutely,
Hmm.
like it's okay to be uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but I can't hold it in.
Hmm.
If I hold it in, I'll get a migraine. So,
Yeah, don't do that. So I do wellness consults. And somebody broke down in my office yesterday. We had a patient who was
did
telling me
they
that her husband died.
apologize
She
over and
did.
over
She
again?
apologized, and I absolutely rejected. I was like, no, do not apologize. You cry as long as and as hard as you want. Here's a box of Kleenex, and you will not make me uncomfortable at all.
Mm-hmm.
Please do not hold this into your vessel and let it go because that's what will make us sick if we don't. But I had to
Absolutely.
learn that because I was frozen water for a long time and I didn't understand it. And the reason that I'm so passionate about teaching it, obviously, I just spoke about it being my life lesson, was because I had to embody it. I
Yeah.
had to feel it, and I do understand. And I was taught to be uncomfortable. Man, I was so uncomfortable with emotion. And now I'm just like, no, no, never apologize.
You know what's crazy? I don't think that I can be frozen water because my sun sign is Aries,
Fire.
which is in fire. My moon sign is water, and my rising is water. So it's both Cancer.
Mhm.
And it's like, it's just boiling it. It's just bringing it to the surface,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, but in my childhood, I consistently heard people calling my name, saying stuff. Even just the other day, this is crazy. I was in my garage and I heard like 3 people talking right outside of my garage, and I walk around the corner, nobody's there.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, what is happening?
Yeah. That.
That.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do hear the music. I do hear all the messages that are being sent to me.
Mhm.
And that's another thing is the people that have died in your life,
Mhm.
they want you to reach out to them. They want so badly to connect to you again.
Yeah.
And it is just your belief system that might just be cutting them off.
Or heavy emotion. If you're too
Oh,
deep in
yeah.
feeling, you won't perceive them.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
have to clear it. And I'm not saying don't feel it. I'm saying go through it, move
Let the
through it,
water flow.
go deep, let it
Mm-hmm.
feel, let it hurt, let it go.
Do
And
you
then you carve out space to hold the communication. Yeah.
Very true. And also, whenever you're doing that, like you can feel the feeling. I feel it in my heart center. It's like a black hole, right?
Mhm.
It is a hole in my heart.
Mhm.
And I let that hole just consume me and then dissipate. It is coming up to go through, to come out.
And it hurts. It causes me physical pain.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that my spine is a little twisted because right behind my heart, um, I was going through grief and all these things at the age of 3, trying to help my family
Yeah.
and be emotionally supportive. And I was going through all those things, and I think that it changed my physical body because of the grief that I was going through.
Absolutely, it can.
It can.
Yeah.
And I feel like your heart can be broken. Like you can have a heart attack from the grief
Absolutely.
and holding it back. You have to let it flow like water.
So this is how storing emotion and unmanaged emotion. Oh no, did we lose it?
It's okay.
So do you want to repeat what you just said?
What did I say?
Well, you were talking about how unmanaged emotion can cause blockages and physical pain in the
Yes.
body, and absolutely, I was
It
going to speak to
can
that point.
change your body physiology. And this has actually been proven. It puts more cortisol, more stress hormone in your blood system.
Yeah.
And this can create, weight gain. This can create heart issues.
Yeah.
This can create a lot of things.
Yeah.
Letting the water flow, letting the emotion come up
Right.
to go out.
So when I took the certifications for the QHHT, Dolores Cannon would talk about um, how it's really the manifestations for the stuck energy does come out. So like weight gain it protects you, right? So it's water protecting you, or it's some sort of the physical matter protecting you. People with diabetes, they have a lack of sweetness, or they lack sweetness in their life, or they have too much or something like that. Heart conditions it's unresolved. It's literally a broken heart, right? It's literally manifesting in your heart space. So these
Absolutely.
things are very, like the way that they show up, it's like I said, it's the Phoebe stuff. We're taught not to pay attention. We're taught to disregard it. We're taught that it doesn't work like that, but really, really it does.
It really does. It really does. Also, like throat cancer is either like shutting yourself up, not being able to speak
your truth.
or speaking harsh, horrible words to people.
Yeah.
It's either one side or the other.
It's like lack of communication.
Absolutely.
Right. Or needing to communicate something.
And this makes me want to ask. So
Yeah.
this is a question that came up on TikTok, and I might have asked you before already, but where do you hold your consciousness? Where do you hold your soul?
So I believe that every fiber of our being, every cell in our body has consciousness. Every cell in our body has everything.
Okay, let me word this.
Yeah.
Where do you feel your soul in your body, in your physical space?
I think that is an evolving question. My brain does not want to give you an absolute answer to that, because I feel like we can embody the divine in different ways and different parts of our, because we are different bodies and we have consciousness in those different parts of our bodies and different experiences and from different experiences.
I've got you. Yeah. Well, a lot of people on this little TikTok video were like, I feel my consciousness right behind my eyes.
Okay.
I feel my consciousness in my throat. I feel my consciousness in my heart.
Okay.
I feel it right here in my third eye. So consistently, these people would feel their consciousness from their head to their heart, right in this center. And I have a theory, as in I'm not doing any scientific research about it, but I still consider it a theory, that where you feel your soul, where you're holding your soul, is the type of person you are. You feel it in right behind your eyes, you are a visual person. You feel it in your mind, you are a intellectual person. You feel it in your heart, you are a heart person.
So if you can embody all those things,
right, it would be nice to even it out. then you are well balanced. That's what you are.
Okay, I've experienced all those things. So I understand the feeling that in the third eye and the pineal gland, because usually that's how I can access that divine information
Mm-hmm.
instantaneously. So if I close my eyes and I focus on the center, I shift my vision, my actual physical eyes to the center of my head, and I take my breath down from my first chakra and I bring that Kundalini breath and I'll start to breathe into that. I can immediately like push the blood up to that in my consciousness and automatically have connection right there. So there I can understand, I completely understand what they're talking about the third eye or behind the, in the center of head, that communication. Um, I might struggle with the throat stuff. But I feel like, yeah, when you are directly channeling, like there is an information. It's like an air energy coming through your throat. And then also the heart space, when you're activated heart space. I will feel an activation in my heart space and I'll feel like a fluttering. It's almost like a like, but it's not your physical heart. It's definitely your heart chakra. And it's like an expansion or
That's so interesting that you say that. Every time after my meditation, which I meditate 30 minutes a day, every day, I get that fluttering, like, brrr, and
yeah,
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my heart's about to beat out of my chest,
I
or I'm
know, I
like having
know.
a heart attack. But now that you say that, yeah, it is definitely energetic.
Yeah, so
That's
that's life
cool.
force. That's life force energy, I feel like,
Mm-hmm.
and we're embodying that. When we're really open like that and inviting it, we just get to really experience it and and it's all of its beauty and I think it feels awesome. I get the giggles whenever it happens to me. I'm like, ah, like it almost like I'm like hitting in the heart chakra with,
Mm-hmm.
life force energy. That's exactly what it feels like.
Well, with all of course, you can bring your attention to create a flow from the crown of your head down to the root chakra. This is this is great for clearing channels and making sure that your energy flow is healthy.
Mhm.
But what I mean is, whenever you go within, or like you have to withdraw from the world, where do you withdraw to? Where do you pull in your energy? Where do you
Yeah.
go into without having to focus at all?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I'm right behind my eyes, or I'm right in, even behind the nose. People were saying behind the jaw, behind the mouth. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
How do they feel that?
Yeah, yeah, interesting. I mean, the pineal gland is where it's
Mm-hmm.
our access to the divine, and there's a lot of information out there about, keeping a healthy pineal gland and, decalcifying it and fluoride and all that stuff. That all seemed very conspiracy theory for a long time, but
That
that's
did.
actually information to point to that. So I read a book, and I don't know if it was like a Barbara Messiniak or Barbara Handclough. It was like a Pleiadian channeler. And I read this book, I don't know, about a decade, just over a decade ago, something like that. And they were talking about, all of these things and how we are going to evolve. We're actually explaining all the stuff that's happening now. They were talking about 20 years ago when they wrote these books. And so it does give them very much validation. And they said, one of the things that they said was that we would be, we would really be disgusted at the types of experimentation that they're doing and in our science arenas, like deep underground stuff and what's happening. And a lot of those things are actually kind of coming out now, and it sounds like this is actually right on time. And I told you I was going to let my freak flag fly. So, but it does. It talks about the stuff that we're seeing in terms of our entertainment industry right now,
Oh
all of the
yeah.
disgusting, and I did just see something that was talking about government programs that we're like working with. Um, Other terrestrial or even interdimensional. I don't think it was the interdimensional stuff because I feel like the interdimensional beings are not malevolent. I
Mm.
think that they're in favor of humanity, but it seems like there's some physical ones that are not. And it seemed like, I just had a discussion with my mom the other day, and she's like, if aliens were real, we would have heard about it. There's so many things that have already been disclosed. And I was like, are you living under a rock? Am I the only one? Am I crazy? But
Right? The
clearly
documents
not.
have come out.
It's like,
Aliens are real.
Yeah. So it's
Yes.
like, okay, let's just have the discussion because I clearly I still sound like the insane one to some people. So
Well, people don't want to see it. Like they have on their blinders. They don't want to see it, and that's okay. Ignorance is
yeah,
bliss.
you got to meet people where they're at. I know, and
Absolutely. You're
mhm,
meeting other people that are exploring these things, just like me and you.
yeah.
Like this is where you discuss this stuff. Maybe with your mom you discuss like what's for dinner, right? But yeah, I don't know. The conspiracy theory is coming up again. It's so interesting because it feels as if almost everything has been made into a quote unquote conspiracy theory.
Mhm.
Like even Eastern medicine. The whole Western medicine is putting down Eastern medicine so that they can make money, so that they
Mhm.
can continue to keep you in that medical trap of go to the hospital, go to the doctor, get the x-rays, get the CAT
Right.
scans, eat the crap food. It's it's like if we just had a holistic viewpoint of
Yes.
these things,
Yeah.
say drink water.
And this is definitely not conspiracy theory, folks, because, okay, so there's a story. If you want to research her, name's Dr. Barbara O'Neill,
Hmm.
and she was a medical doctor, and they took away her license. And it was all very shady, and not because what she was saying wasn't true, because it's extremely true, but it wasn't dependent on the pharmaceutical companies to make money, right? So she was teaching people holistic and herbal medicine. She was teaching people food as medicine, herbs as medicine, and ways to manage your body without the use of pharmaceuticals if you can avoid it. She wasn't discrediting Western medicine. She was just saying there's all of these approaches that we could be trying, so either we could avoid it or use it as a very last resort. And yeah, she's not practicing anymore. She's written some books, and you can see her on, I'm sure, social media. There's like people who have actually used her name to open up different pages and give information. So be careful about the information that obviously you're coming into contact with. But if it's really from her, it really is good advice. And she has been one of those that have been stunted. And I don't remember if it was you that I was talking to, but there's been a vast amount of holistic practitioners that have not been allowed to practice, and some of them are not here anymore. And I don't know, seems very on purpose, and I know that seems conspiratorial, but it's not untrue, and maybe these
Hmm.
things need to be discussed a little bit. There's a documentary called Thrive that was released a long time ago. It was like 2 decades ago, and then they did another one, Foster Gamble and his wife, and it's called Thrive 2, and it's relevant, and it's another one
Oh.
that I'd like to show. So this is a really good segue into talking a little bit about one of the things that I was divinely inspired to reach out to Eden, and she's really down with my shenantics, which I love. Thank you so much for entertaining them.
Of course.
But like I'll get a download, and I'll be like text Eden, I'll be like, I got this thing and we should do this, and she's just like, okay, let me just ground into that for a minute. But I've been following this page called Spirit Science for a long time, and they do these little cartoons, and they're really, really cool, scientific, but also metaphysical science and spiritual. And so if you want to look them up, there's these little cartoons, and they're really awesome way of explaining actual truth, and in a way that is very digestible, very understandable, and very coherent. And they just did a movie called Code 12, and so I'm going to purchase that, and I'd asked Eden if she would be willing to open up her yoga studio and allow me to show this, and so we're going to host a community event, and it'll be, if you'd like to make a donation towards, the hosting for the space or the purchase of the movie or anything like that, or supporting our cause, supporting our podcast. If you like to hear this kind of information, if it kind of lights you up in it's a way that a rabbit hole that you want to follow, continue to follow with us. We'd love for you to join us. And if you are local on the Space Coast, we invite you to this. And it's details to follow, but we're going to be hosting a public viewing of Code 12
I think it would be
documentary.
really cool to have like a little bit of a discussion afterwards as well, and just like
Absolutely.
get everybody's views on what they got out of it. I was so happy to be able to offer my space and to have the community come in And I only have a couple of chairs, so if you need a chair, bring a chair.
Yeah, we'll bring all that stuff. Yeah, it'll be great. I think it'll be just exactly perfect, and we'll have a projector and enough
Yeah.
space. And then if you'd like to bring a dish to pass, you may. You don't have to. I feel like it would be a nice little community event if we had some. I'll probably bring some snacks. If I know you, you probably have something. But whatever. We'll at least have something to drink and some good community, and it'll open up. You can see Eden's awesome yoga studio, which has aerial yoga, which, my God, that just sounds like the most amazing
Have you
thing.
ever done
I
aerial?
have
Oh my
not done
word,
it.
you need to come
I know,
in.
I know. I am carving out. I'm learning how to manage time, and
Oh, okay.
it's only the time that has been defeating for me.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, my heart and my passion are definitely. I can't believe I haven't tried it. My brother did aerial like dancing, like he was a professional ballet dancer. He and his
Oh,
partner owned a
wow.
company called Elements Contemporary Ballet in Chicago, and they did, the 20 or 30 foot, what do you call them?
The aerial
The
silks? The
silks,
silk.
yeah. Yeah, so they were real high up, and I think he was afraid of heights, so that was a real feat to
Oh,
do for
wow.
him. But the positions I'm sure you can get into in these things, and the alleviation that is potentially had, I'm sure is
Yeah,
profound.
so aerial yoga specifically, super easy. We are not doing Cirque du Soleil. It
Yeah,
is not flipping around, nothing like that. We are stretching, we are feeling into the body, we are
yeah,
breathing into the decompression of the spine because whenever you turn upside down, it is alleviating that pressure on the spine and it is creating space.
absolutely, 100%
Yes,
necessary. This is all great.
yes.
When do you do those classes?
10 a.m., 10:30 a.m. on Wednesdays.
Awesome. Yay, on
It's
Wickham Road.
Wednesday.
It's
Wake up.
Wednesday next
Yes, yes.
week. Yeah. Uh,
I also have yoga therapy classes going on. That is 6:30 on Tuesdays, and it is an hour and a half. We will be doing meditation. We will be doing group discussions, physical poses, of course, and journaling at the end. So it is like a little uh, kind of sample of my regular yoga therapy class or sessions that I have with individual people.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you do massage therapy as well?
Of course, yes, I
Yeah.
do massage therapy, and this is also where I kind of put in energy work into my whole company, my whole business. But in my massages, I do stretching, cupping, hot stones, and a little bit of energy work.
Awesome. It sounds amazing, and I have not
Mm.
experienced it yet, but I will soon.
Yes. Well, Jessica does it too, and me and Jessica we trade, and it's like the exact same massage.
I
I
love it.
I love it too.
That's great. Yeah, I love it. So I've had the quantum healing hypnosis done to me, but that was while I was being trained. So I took Dolores Cannon's level 1 and level 2 from her. So I got to experience the first time for the level 1 class. I had it done to me from another person that I had practiced with, and then the level 2 class. We got into groups of 3, and then we would practice doing it, receiving it, and observing it. So that was kind of cool.
And I have actually received her services, and they are amazing. We record that she records them, and so you can listen to them later, and you're picking up new information every time you listen to it.
Yeah. So yeah, the thing that's beautiful about all of the modalities that we do is that they do create this clear channel, and so you're
Hmm.
becoming this more clear channel to receive more life force, to receive more divine inspiration. The QHHT just puts you right in that, theta state to easily access that divine knowledge and to create a channel of your own divine information. And the information's coming through you in your own voice. And so when you
Hmm.
do play it back and you're at the end of it, listening to your own subconscious tell you what it is that you need to hear, you're listening to yourself. It's such a beautiful modality. I love it. It's always been just one of my most favorite ways to work with people because it just allows me to really work with somebody very intimately and breaks down all of the walls. There's all of this trust and there's no judgment, and it's a beautiful experience. Had some really profound. I could have I've had some case studies that have been similar to the stuff that you read in her book. So that's been beautiful. And yeah.
I do want to point out I did read the book From Death to Life by Dolores Cannon, and we're in Scorpio season, so it's so amazing to explore death and to dive into it and see what happens after people pass on. I loved it, and it was so healing. It is so healing to know that, oh, we are still here.
Yeah, so that's kind of the lie that we've been taught, is that it all ends, YOLO,
Right.
You only live once. No, actually everything is cyclical. Nature teaches us, everything in nature teaches us. Why would we be any different? And, there's plenty of proof. Anybody who thinks it's a belief system just needs to investigate a little bit more. It's absolutely true. It's been proven by profound experiences, children talking about things. So, yeah, so there is stuff to be learned from different experiences. And right now, the energies are amplified in order for us to, particularly closest to, the end of October, where the veil is very thin. And so the communication between these dimensional realms is very easily accessible. So right now, doing this type of work is amazing and intimately profound.
And I do want to preface that if you are doing this work and at any point you're feeling icky or you're feeling like some kind of energy has come through that is not for you, you can always cleanse yourself with your water. You can also cleanse yourself by visualizing a beam of light that is purifying you and your being. So always be protected energy-wise and always be vigilant.
Absolutely. When doing the work by yourself, for sure. If you're going to work with one of us, we will guide you through it, and we always implement those types of things into our practices. So absolutely good information.
And I do want to just put out a little practice here. If the next time you get into the shower and listen to the water, let the water be your channel. Have you ever had like profound, amazing thoughts or even voices come through just because you're in water and it's
Almost every day.
pouring over your head? Yes. Yes, I feel it as well. I also feel whenever I'm thinking of a person in the shower, they are definitely thinking of me.
Yeah.
At the same moment. I have that feeling every time.
Yeah.
So try that out and try out the putting energy in water and drinking it. Love. Put love in your water.
An elevated emotion.
It is so wonderful.
Yes. I have something on my fridge. If you go up to my fridge, there's a little mirror, and I used to have a picture of a monkey on it. My kids were actually kind of miffed that I painted over it, but I painted it to match my kitchen because I didn't want the monkey on there. And I was inspired to write the words, "I am the light," or "I am light." I think I put "I am the light." And I just feel like that is it. That is it. When you're drinking, like it's right in front of my water station. So when I'm drinking my water, I'm thinking, I am the light. I am the light. I am the love.
Yeah, just seeing those words as you're drinking. Having affirmations on your fridge or anything like that could definitely, even like on your bathroom mirror, on your regular
I look
mirror.
at all my Post-it notes as you look at my mirror right there. Yeah. I do. I have actually Post-it notes right before you get into my shower, and it's like, I am divine, I am creative, I am love, I am worthy, I am abundant. And these mantras do. And when you say them in your mind or when you say them out loud in your voice, you integrate them in your body. You're taking the vibration of the words, and you
can even just having them on the wall, your subconscious is picking up on that constantly. I've done this practice where I record my affirmations. I record them and I listen to them as I go for a walk. Whenever it is coming from your own voice and you're listening to them every day, your subconscious is like, oh, I am, right? I am.
Yeah,
I'm an Aries, so I am is my words.
Yeah, those are, yeah.
But, yes, play around with water.
Those words because I'm a Capricorn.
I use
this practice. See, low road Capricorn. I knew it was coming like right through. I could see the look in your eyes.
I told my husband, who's a Capricorn, you're the devil. You use me up. That's what I told him.
Oh, poor guy. I mean, but that is a low road Capricorn. That can be.
Well, in tarot, that is a Capricorn card, the devil.
But it can be perceived in a negative or positive way. Transformation and death of something sometimes makes way for something new. right? And then to use something isn't always a bad thing. It's just as if you're using it without integrity, right? If you're using it to better yourself and not paying attention to how you're using that energy. So yeah, it's an evolution.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And an awareness, conscious awareness. So again, to bring it full circle and wrap it all up into a nice little package, to bring conscious awareness. So all of the things that we practice, the whole reason for this podcast is just to help people understand and integrate consciousness and to bring it into themselves. So I'm a consciousness coach. I'm an energy worker. I practice Dolores Cannon's method of quantum healing hypnosis. Reach out to any one of us. We want to work with you and and help you. So yeah, thanks for listening to our podcast. I don't know how long we've been recording, but I feel like it's about that time.
Thank you so much. And my name is Eden. We are in the Space Coast area. So if you need a massage therapist, a yoga therapist, or yoga classes, here I am. Reach out.
And if you need an energy worker, consciousness coach, or somebody to help take you a little bit deeper, or you've got some issues you'd like to work out and bring consciousness to the unconscious and make life more comfortable, just learn all the things. There's different practices that we can offer you to help you. So,
absolutely. So have a wonderful day and play around with the water and see how it goes for you. We will see you next week.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Bye.